in celebratory mode, so let's get the market master in. Sanjay, that director, Quantum Securities, joins us now. Good morning, Sanjay. Good to have you with us because sage advice is needed. At these levels and with an earnings season which many predict is not going to look good, would you go long?
Lata, yes, definitely. I think this is the time to pick up your stocks, pick up the checklist that you made all these days and start buying. Because, what we are seeing right now, and all of us are finding this trend surprising, but I'm not really, because people have had this left out feeling. People had, dark clouds from Greece, you had collapse of China, you had, monsoon, everything else. So people thought that, all the negatives will pan out and we'll be back below 8,000 or 7,800, particularly the day when the Greek referendum came, etc. So, people were light, people were short, in fact. And that's the reason why you're seeing this trend, because most of the events have kind of panned off okay in the short term. I'm not convinced that Greece is solved as yet, but I think for the time being, it's off the table. So a combination of these is what is attracting people to come back and deploy money now.
Okay. Sanjay, hi, good morning. Yes, this market has very successfully climbed the wall of worry as it has done for the past 1 year. But from here on, do you expect a lot more upside? Because this is the level where we have been facing a bit of heat, a bit of resistance, right? This 85-50 zone. So what could the trajectory look like from now, say for the next 3 to 4 months?
A very good question, Sonia, because, from a valuation standpoint, if you see the, historical, whether PE or all other indicators, we are reasonably valued. So we shouldn't really be up 3 to 5% from a Nifty standpoint, or we shouldn't be down 3-5%. We are kind of fairly valued zone. But I think there are individual opportunities, even within the Nifty and otherwise outside the Nifty, that needs to be looked at now. Now, coming to what looks like next 3-4 months, I think we will have those answers in the next 2 to 3 weeks, because the RBI governor will have the policy coming in August. By end of this month, beginning next month, we'll have much more clarity on monsoon. And also, we've had now the Fed Governor Yellen speak, kind of being very explicit that yes, US economy is in a good shape, both consumer as well as the employment numbers. So it's kind of looking okay overseas. So if these 3-4 domestic events that I just spoke about, if they pan out positively, I think then next 3 to 4 months, the market will start getting re-rated. We will start looking at September quarter numbers. So then we probably are getting set for a breakout above 8,700, 8,800.
Okay, Sanjay, am I being too optimistic? I'm not normally accused of that. See, look at the kind of stock-wise news we got today. Adani Ports is building a port in Vizhinjam. It got that order today. Adani Transmission has got a transmission line order of 850 crore from Chhattisgarh government. Pipavav Defence has got an order from Russia. Thermax has bought a company and is looking to expand. Are we seeing, CMI told us that most all projects are coming on, and today for the first time, 3 or 4 of our top 10 were people who are putting in money. Are things turning around?
Yes, Tata, in fact, if you recollect, we spoke last time and I was quite clear that all the efforts the government has made are going to start showing results, very soon. I'm so sorry, my phone rang.
Okay.
I should have put it on silent.
No, please,
okay,
go ahead.
I think I'm really sorry for that. All the efforts the government has made in the last few months.
Okay, modern gadgets, right, Sanjay? If you want to take that, you just take that call. We'll come back to you in just
Actually, you can switch it off. It's not
okay.
an issue.
We'll just check.
Are you still?
No, now it's fine.
No, I'll switch it off. It's not an urgent call.
All right.
I'm so sorry, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Sanjay. You think things are on the mend?
Yeah, I think things are on the mend. So, now we'll see actual results flowing in. Like we've seen what's happened to Pipavav today. The kind of offshoots of that 3 billion order that might come in here into India and that's coming in are going to be huge, because, the related industries will get a lot of stuff coming through. So therefore, I'm optimistic that numbers down the line, sometime September, December, would start showing, much more improvement. Liquidity is coming back from overseas. Overseas investors are looking at India definitely after they've seen all the problems that China is facing, etc. And, whether it's the underdeveloped European region. So there's no reason why, things are not going to look good, both for the real economy as well as for the street out here. I'm quite optimistic. I think, barring 100, 200 points dip here and there, which you can't game, you may go down to 8,200 or 8,300 for some odd reason. But the trajectory for the next 6 to 12 months is definitely up for the markets. Select your stocks, remain invested, be in your conviction ideas. I think that's the game, basically.
Okay. A lot of the domestic economy related stocks have been doing very well, Sanjay. Names like Maruti, L&T, etc. Do you continue to back these kind of quality names?
No, I think that's an overcrowded trade at this point in time, Sonia, because, I've seen that they're in the upper end of the range. Most of the positives are built in there. At this point of time, I would go and bet on the contrarian kind of positions where people wouldn't want to go. So, I wouldn't want to go and hide in the obvious safety plays that, we are seeing here, L&T, Marutis and the BHELs, where we know orders will come, where we know things will happen. I'm not saying that they'll go down or they'll underperform. But at the best, there'll be market performers. And I don't see a substantial outperformance in them over the next 12 to 18 months.
Okay. All right. So you move out of the private banks, probably the Axis's and the HDFCs. You move out of, the Marutis because they are overcrowded. But what do you have left? You have an SBI's and Bank of Baroda's which are laden with questionable quality of debt. You have infrastructure companies, Tata Steels, which are laden with very cheap competition. What will you buy if you move out of the, crowded trades?
Lata, I've learned in the market in the last 20 years that when you have strong tailwinds, go to the pariahs. They are the ones who will benefit from the restructuring and benefit from the, strong tailwinds that you have. Okay. Because they are the ones where as soon as some balance sheet issues and some, peculiar issues are there, they get sorted out. They are the ones which kind of give you those 2x, 3x returns. So you've got to look at those. Okay. But once again, I'm talking from my risk-reward profile and my own risk profile. But a lot of people may not want to do that. So therefore, they would prefer sticking on to the Marutis, L&Ts and manage with that 10, 20% return. But, my kind of investor who kind of prefers a high-risk, high-gain kind of a strategy, but at the same time looks at things very clinically in terms of fundamentals, quality of companies, etc., but having a some kind of a handicap, which I think would get rectified in the next few months. That's where I would bet right now.
No, that's very positive to hear if you expect these companies to turn around. Ultimately, that's the bulk of the index as well. But just a word on the Land Acquisition Act. I don't know how to interpret this. It looks like the NDA has taken a pragmatic view and said, okay, those states which want to go ahead, you all go ahead, amend. If we are not able to amend the central law, if you want us to excuse the central law for your specific state, we will go with you in those amendments. How should the market read this? Positive, or BJP not going to push the land bill? Negative?
I think this is awesome. This reminds me of a typical, micro case which we saw when we had that, infamous Nandigram and the shifting of the Tata plant to Gujarat, So the point here is very clear. BJP found a way around this. If at center, we're going to be totally stalled by the opposition for some reason or the other. There's going to be noise on other fronts, but we still got to move ahead. I think this has been a very good masterstroke for them, where you've got a large number of BJP states which are relatively investor friendly also. So therefore they've said, okay, go enact your laws, go, solve your own problems. And like, what I was hearing the finance minister talking about the Punjab model, what Mr. Badal has already been doing out there. In fact, I heard for the first time that's what's happening in Punjab, and I was ignorant about it. So there are, out-of-the-box solutions that are going to come out of this government, and I think that's pretty positive. So that's the best way to actually, shortchange the tit-for-tat kind of attitude that politics has, which we are seeing right now.
Okay, I just wanted to ask you one question about some of these stocks that have gotten heavily derated, but are great companies, great businesses, good managements, the likes of, Tata Motors, Tech Mahindra, etc. Do you put money into these names?
Absolutely. I think Tata Motors, I don't think there's much to worry about in the longer term. Now, I don't know where the base would be. We're seeing it at 52-week lows, whether it goes down another 10, 15%. I don't know. I can't game that really because, a lot of short-term sentiment flows, technical factors do impact these. But if we are talking about an uptick in the economy, we're talking about, orders in urban renewal, smart cities, that kind of stuff. Even if 20% of that gets implemented over the next 2 to 5 years, I don't see why Tata Motors will not be the beneficiary. Like we just heard, Delhi government budgeting something like, 10,000 buses which have never been ordered in the last 5 or 10 years. So where are these orders going to go? And, so these are the kind of companies which will benefit. Yes, I know, you can go on and on about JLR and international operations being a drag, etc. But, they have their own cycle. They get sorted out. And good companies, good managements like the Tatas normally ride out these phases and sort these things out. I think this is the time to actually add these kind of stocks to your portfolio. Sit tight, because you don't make money out of trading and the short-term noise that you hear on television from, the wrong word you use from sages like us. But just sit tight, get your stock right, and, just kind of be invested for 2 to 3 years, you'll make money in these stocks.
Well, that was an oxymoron. You called yourself a sage and you said wrong words. Sages always give good advice, don't they? Thanks, Sanjay, for joining us and taking us through the markets. You have a good day.